Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo and we're at the South Park Center. I'm here with Finn with his movie viewing. Let's take a little clip.
Wacht even. Meneer de Wolf, u hoeft dit niet te zien. Ja.
Thank you, Finn, for coming all the way from the Netherlands to be here.
Thank you for having me.
Really, really great. Thank you for sharing your film with us. It was very powerful. I've never seen a film quite like it. So tell us briefly, not for those who haven't seen it.
So it's a short film, 14 minutes, and it's about the week between suicide and funeral of a former fashion model. And it's told from the physical vantage point of the woman's corpse. So who we never see, but we see how others look at her or don't look at her.
Yeah. It was very, very well done. Where did this inspiration come from?
I was actually working on another screenplay that I worked on for a long time and that to this day hasn't been made yet, but that was about a pregnancy from the perspective of the soul of the unborn child.
Oh wow!
Which is really interesting too, but which is kind of the same idea
of
turned
what
on
you would
its
do,
head. So when I was thinking about that, and I realized I was being attracted to stories that were about bodies and souls, and about the mystery of that, what that is, and that made me actually think of a good friend of mine who took his own life when he was in his 20s, and who I went to see after this happened at his home, and where I was confronted with his lifeless body, and it was such a painful and sad thing, but also just so alienating in a way, because as soon as I saw him, I realized it's not him. He's not here. You know, so that sort of baffling experience is something that really stuck with me and that I remembered, and I felt like maybe I could express a little of that mystery by placing the camera there, because I thought you can't really film that. I don't know how you can express that. So in the film there's a scene where there's a little boy, the son,
who is such a good actor. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so good.
Yeah, so glad to have found him. But he actually doesn't recognize his mother, so he says, my mom has a dress just like that. And I thought that was sort of the only way that I can think of a believable way that a character within the film would express something of what I felt when I saw my friend. And
I love the set. I love the setting of this venue that you had, this place, and it was very striking and very powerful and kind of, you know, and also obviously you had to have, I guess, play with the camera and the cinematographer a lot to kind of really capture the sort of, you know, viewpoint of the corpse. How was that kind of process for you? Yeah,
it's one of the things that we obviously talked a lot about, and I still sometimes don't know if it's, we sort of had to make a choice. Are we gonna take it really literally, and or do we give ourselves a bit more freedom and, for example, use a very wide lens and level the camera, I guess, if you can say so. So we put a lot of limits on ourselves in telling this story, and I think a lot of the that adds a lot of the sort of poetry or whatever the specific beauty that the film has, but it also made it very difficult to sort of tell the film in a more logical way. So that was very challenging, and the framing is part of that, absolutely. Yeah.
I think it really worked though. Now, of course, I mean, it almost felt like the kind of the corpse perspective almost felt like a character in itself, you know, it almost like my viewpoint of this whole thing. But how was the casting process for you?
I looked for the widower first. And I had some actresses in mind too, but it was important for me that it was someone who was somewhat well known, at least in the Netherlands.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like that would add something to the role, make it believable. That would be someone who was maybe like a semi-public figure.
Yeah.
But she plays a double role. She plays both through the portraits that are hung in the set. She plays herself, and then she plays her sister, who comes in. So we had a small budget. So basically, what we did was make a list of actors and actresses that we wanted to work with,
Mm-hmm.
and then we contacted them. So I didn't have
cool.
like a casting for the
Yeah, you
for
had
the main
some people
parts.
in mind that you wanted to.
And
work.
for the child, for the boy, we did have a
How old-
casting actually.
How old was he?
I think he was 4.
I was like,
Yeah.
he's so
He's
good.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
my goodness me, and also to portray something of a storyline like that as well. I was like, it was just really powerful and came across really well.
Yeah.
So yeah, what is it like to have this idea of a story, and then it drags you halfway across the world, and then to be celebrated at the home of the Oscars, and even more deeper than that, with us at New Filmmakers celebrating a program highlighting great Dutch talent. How was that feeling like for you?
Oh, it's indescribable. And I like yesterday during the whole day, people kept coming up to me and asking me, how do you feel now? And how do you feel now? And
Yeah.
I, at a certain point, I was like, hey, this kind of feels like my wedding.
Yeah.
Where
Well, we're going. Okay. We'll take that. Okay. Well, hopefully, your wedding was. That's fantastic. Wow, we couldn't get a big comment than that.
But there's just so much coming at you, so I just had to think of like maybe ask me in a week how it was, because it's obviously amazing with a short film to be able to travel this far.
Yeah.
And just the festival has done such a good job to set us up and bring us into contact with so many interesting people. And the venue yesterday was also amazing to see the film in this cinema.
It's
on this
insane,
screen.
isn't it?
It looked so good. I mean, I had a cast and crew screening earlier, and this was just great. Yeah.
We're very grateful that you made the journey with us. What is next for you?
We got lots of ideas for shorts and longer form things, but I'm writing right now, and I'm working on a feature film. So when I talked a bit about this last night at the screening, and I sort of afterwards wasn't sure if I should have done that, if I should have sort of shared my idea with the whole world. So I'm a bit hesitant now.
We'll keep it stum, But no. But we want to see much more of your work, and I think one of the things that even one of the questions that one of the members mentioned even last night was just almost that you kind of left us thinking about your film, and I love that you did that. Like, you left us talking about it, and maybe having different viewpoints and understandings of it. And I think you kind of like for your audience to kind of obviously ask questions of your films as well.
Certainly. I mean, I think I'll always have a certain like more of a poetic mood to my films, but I think this one even more so because of the form that we chose and the limits that we set ourselves, which you can do, and I think in a way maybe should do in the short form, because you can do those things because you don't have to, the audience doesn't have to invest as much.
Exactly.
So you have more freedom in that way.
Yeah.
And I sometimes think it's a pity that like the great filmmakers don't make more short films, because it's such another form of expression.
And 100%.
It's mostly used as a sort of jumping board to doing other stuff. But
100%. No, I think that's a very important statement. I'm so glad. I'm looking forward to watching your feature when it comes as well. So thank you for coming all the way and being here with us. We can't do it without you, so we really appreciate it, Finn. So thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, everybody.